guys, welcome back to Vlogmas Day 4. If you are new, my name is Nichole. I am a New York City lifestyle vlogger and currently participating in 25 days of Vlogmas. So today I thought it might be kind of fun to throw it back to a little bit of a wedding theme and go through all of the souvenirs Ian and I bought for ourselves on our honeymoon that we just took in Greece. If you don't know, I actually did just upload my honeymoon vlog last week. So if you want to go give that a watch beforehand, it might give a little bit of context. But we obviously came back with a bunch of goodies to remember the trip by. Nothing super crazy. We spent most of our honeymoon budget on, actually getting out to Greece and then doing a bunch of things and having a bunch of experiences while out there. But we certainly came back with a bit of a haul, and I thought it'd be fun to share it with you guys. We were in Greece for just about 2 weeks. We visited Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini, and kind of picked up little pieces from each of those places. Starting with something that I try to remember to get no matter where I go, every place, every destination I've ever been to, I always try and get a postcard. I have a massive postcard collection that I've been building over the years since before I even knew Ian actually. And then, once we started traveling together, we've gotten a postcard every place we have been to. So of course I got a fat stack in Greece because we went to so many places while we were there. And just to flip through some of them quickly for you guys, obviously we got postcards from Athens at the Parthenon. This also, just some of the really classic architecture, all the things to see in Athens. That one's just like a bit of an overview. Also from the big Acropolis museum that they have, which was so cool, so exciting to see, and we learned a ton. And then a couple from our day trips as well. We did a day trip to Delphi just to see where the Oracle spoke, which was actually in what used to be a building here, the Oracle of Apollo. There was also a museum there. Then getting into our Mykonos postcards, obviously the windmills, very famous, which brings us to Santorini. Adored Santorini. I've always wanted to visit. I've always wanted to see these blue buildings specifically. So that was a dream come true. This brings us to the I'm gonna butcher this, the Peloponnese. Also a day trip we did. We took a day trip to Olympia, which is coming up next. And on the drive out to Olympia, we saw the Peloponnese, which has the Corinthos Canal and a very famous bridge. Stopped, I didn't know much about it, but we stopped and saw that before making our way to Olympia, which was absolutely gorgeous, where the Olympic Games used to be held. And yes, that is the far too many postcards I collected on our 2 weeks in Greece. I was very excited. Every time we went somewhere new, I told Ian, I was like, oh my God, I have to find a postcard. So obviously I'm gonna be adding all of these to my collection. It is definitely on my to-do list to get some sort of photo album or a book to start keeping these in, because they're currently just in a very big pile in one of my drawers. Very excited to remember where we went, all that we did. Starting with some of the things we got in Athens. Again, none of these are like really big spending items that we got. I personally really like remembering our trips and my travels from items that bring back a specific memory as opposed to something I got in a high-end store. So this might seem silly to a lot of people. I know it's gonna seem silly to a lot of people, but to me, this is probably one of the best things I brought back and I'm most excited about. And I'm also actually not sure I should have this, but aside from that, it is a rock from the Temple of Athena, who is my favorite goddess in Greek mythology. I was definitely a Greek mythology nerd growing up. Lightning Thief was my life when I was a 12-year-old. Other people were like, where are my Hogwarts letter? And I wanted to know who my real Greek parent was. So getting to visit the Temple of Athena was mind-blowing for my younger self, and I had to bring a piece of it back with me. So this is a rock that I very stealthily grabbed from the Temple of Athena. I haven't decided yet. I do have a couple other rocks from trips that Ian and I have been on where I've written in Sharpie the location and date on the back, which I will probably end up doing with this, but for now I'm kind of still just admiring it in its pristine beauty. Pristine as in a ton of tourists walked over it, but it's from Athena's temple, and that's really cool. So again, didn't get it in the store, but it is one of my favorite items that I came back with. Very excited about that. We also in Athens got stopped. There's a bunch of people, you know, trying to get you to buy things that they're selling, sometimes a little more aggressively than others, which is how I came about getting this woven bracelet. We actually ended up with about 5 of these because the person selling them started aggressively tying them to our wrists and then demanded money, which is a classic ploy. Ian gave him the very last bit of change he had on him, but obviously it's a memory. It was on our way up to the Acropolis. We gave away a lot of them just because we had so many when we came back, but I did hang on to this one. The classic blue and white colors just makes me think of Greece and makes me happy. Moving on to some of the things we picked up in Mykonos. Mykonos was so much fun. It is absolutely the party island that you always hear about. One thing I saw, actually, you saw this everywhere, is the blue evil eye, and it symbolizes good luck and karma. So I saw this bracelet in one of the shops and I immediately fell in love with it. It was just a little rhinestone blue eye. I was very excited. I had Ian put it on me immediately. And then that night we actually went out to the bars and clubs and it broke off while I was dancing. I was very, very sad. It wasn't an expensive bracelet, so it wasn't a really big deal, and I meant to get a new one, but just didn't really get around to it. So now I'm kind of just hanging it on my wall as a little amulet reminder, but I was very excited about this bracelet when it was still a bracelet. Also from Mykonos, I actually got this on our catamaran tour, which was such a good day. We had so much fun. And one of the best parts for me on the catamaran tour was when they let us jump off the boat and swim around. Compared to where Ian and I live on the East Coast of the United States, we spend a lot of time at the beach and swimming in the ocean, but the water in Greece, and specifically in Mykonos, was so salty. The buoyancy just made you float so well. I've never really experienced water like that. I know there are a lot of different places you can go where the salt levels are super high, and that's just the consistency of the water, which I think is really cool and really fun to experience. But it was also extremely clear, and I noticed these seashells at the bottom of this little swimming area we were in, and I had to get them. I knew I had to get them. Our catamaran tour gave us goggles to use while we were swimming. I didn't think about how difficult it would be to get to the bottom of the water because of the salt levels and buoyancy, but it became a pride point. I did do it. I forced my way down and ended up with a couple of seashells. Ian actually got this seashell after I did it. He was like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. And it really was. There's something about fighting your way through the buoyancy and salt that's just really exhilarating and a ton of fun, especially when you grew up swimming and doing water sports like Ian and I did. So we each got a little seashell, which they're absolutely perfect. I love our seashells from Mykonos. Like the rocks, I'll probably maybe write the location and date on the inside just so I never forget where they're from. I do have quite the seashell collection, but knowing that those are from our honeymoon in Mykonos just makes them extra special to me. From Mykonos, we did end up going to Santorini, and one of the first excursions we did while in Santorini was the lava tour, where they take you to the main volcano near Santorini. You get to hike it and explore. If you haven't already guessed, obviously all I wanted was a volcano rock. And when I tell you, the first thing they said to us when we stepped off the boat onto this little volcanic island was, please do not take the rocks. So obviously I'm not very original in this amazingly memorable and also amazingly cheap souvenir idea. and I wasn't about to go against a direct request like that from our excursion guide. So I did not get a volcanic rock from the little volcano island, which I was really sad about. But they had a second stop on our volcano tour at the island of, I just want to make sure I pronounce this right, Thracia? I believe it's pronounced Thracia, which is essentially, it was explained to us as the sister island to Santorini. It was a very cute, very, like, not a lot of people live there. There's a huge winding staircase that Ian and I hiked, and then there's also a town right along the coast, and then a town at the very top of the stairs. But not a lot of people there, tons of cats. The cats were phenomenal, but honestly a gorgeous area, and there was a little shop selling, wouldn't you know it, volcanic rock bracelets. So Ian and I got matching volcanic rock bracelets on the island of Thracia. His is just a plain volcanic rock, and then mine, once again, I found one that has the blue eye amulet, so I got that one. And yeah, having a couple matching bracelets I thought was really sweet, and I got the volcanic rock I wanted. Also on this same excursion, we got a chance to swim in these thermal pools, which were very high in iron. The tour guide actually warned us that if we were wearing white, and obviously I wore a white bathing suit to this excursion, that it would end up stained. And my white bathing suit was extremely stained. She was not kidding. The water had this very orangey tint to it. It was really interesting. I'd never seen anything like that before. Quite a few people were rubbing the mud on their skin. I think there are some good properties from the iron. I didn't do that personally, but what I did do is, once again, this was a lot more shallow once you got to thermal pool area. So I was able to just reach down and grabbed a couple of really neat looking iron rocks. Like, you can just see the amount of iron that has seeped into these, which I think is so cool. And yeah, just kind of to remember the thermal pools we swam in. I thought that was really, really neat. We also had a chance to do a catamaran tour in Santorini as well, and no one told me I couldn't dive down for rocks on this tour. Didn't want to go too crazy. I realized that this is like my 5th or 6th rock, but they're all from different places, and I vividly remember where they're all from, so if you want to make fun of me, it's fine. I understand it's silly, but to me, I really enjoy it, and I put them on display, and I think they're nice, and if anyone asks about them, I get to tell them all about Santorini or Mykonos or Thracia, so I think it's really exciting. And when we were on the Santorini catamaran tour, I collected a couple of rocks, and there was this beautiful actual volcanic piece. It is so hard to get my camera to focus on this itty bitty little rock. I don't know if you're truly able to see, but there are divots, and you can just really see how volcanic matter has shaped this rock. It's probably my favorite find from the whole trip. I just think this rock is so cool. It feels really neat. It doesn't feel like anything I have found, you know, on the East Coast of the States. So I love that it's different. You can tell it's not from here. And I got it from the bottom of the sea on our catamaran tour in Santorini. So let's move on to some souvenirs that we actually bought in real stores. I promise there are a couple of those. Obviously, we wanted things that was going to remind us of our trip that we could use and look at and, you know, just get all excited about the memory of our honeymoon, because it was a really exciting time and a really exciting trip. Not like any other vacation we had ever been on before. Ian and I have a couple of collections, aside from postcards and seashells and rocks, that we like to contribute to whenever we go somewhere new. Woo. And one of those collections would be shot glasses. So we got 2 shot glasses while we were, I think we got these in Athens actually. One is this really adorable owl, again, covered in the eyes. The owl is actually a symbol of Athena, so I thought that was really cute. And then we also saw this in the store. I'm gonna have to censor it a little bit. So one thing about Greece is that sex is a lot less taboo there than it is in the States. You know, it's just not considered as, oh my God, as it is in a lot of places around here. However, I do also think that to an extent, they are working for that tourism shock factor when people see some of these crazy things in the stores, because there was a lot of it. But when we first arrived in Athens, I saw this shot glass, and personally it made me laugh so hard because I was not expecting this at all. So once again, censoring this a little bit. but if you can see, it says Greek lovers on it, and it is a very visual scene, but I laughed so hard. I think that's gonna cause for some laughs if that ever gets broken out of the shot glass collection. Obviously not gonna have it front and center, especially not if family is ever visiting, but I couldn't leave it behind. It just made me laugh too hard. And Ian actually had a similar reaction later on in the trip and found a, I swear these are the only things we got like this, was that shot glass. And then Ian grabbed a deck of playing cards that is also very visual. It was just truly funny to me being on our honeymoon and seeing Greek lovers. I was like, okay, come on though, that's pretty funny. A couple more wholesome gifts that we got. We obviously got a magnet for our fridge. Our fridge is covered in magnets and photo strips, Polaroids. So I love having extra magnets to hang things from. This is from Athens, depicts the Acropolis. It's a little heart, so again, super on theme, right? Very honeymoon-esque, very sweet. So that's gonna be really nice to see every time we go to the fridge. We also got a couple of figurines. We actually got all of our friends a figurine for our little New York City friend group. It was just a fun little matching thing we got everybody. So if you're not familiar, the Greek mythology has lots of different gods and goddesses, but there are 12 main ones that live on Olympia. And so we picked a Greek god or goddess that represented some of our friends from New York City, and we got them a god. So for Jared and his fiancée Lizzie, we got them Zeus and Hera. For Kirsten and Reich, we got them Hades and Persephone, who actually aren't on Olympia, but it's a whole thing, and it was very fitting. And then for Veronica, since she's in law school, we did get her an Athena, which just made sense to me. And since we gave Athena to Ronnie, I wanted to be part of this little thing we were creating. So for Ian and I got us Ares and Aphrodite. That's actually really hard to see. Let me take them out of the packaging. Technically speaking, in Greek mythology, Ares and Aphrodite are not. Aphrodite is actually married to a different god, but being that it's Greek mythology, there is a lot of affairs and scandalous things going on. And Aphrodite and Ares just have a very passionate romance despite not being married to each other. There's hardly gonna be a couple from Greek mythology you could pick that's like really classic, perfect couple. So all just silly fun and games, obviously, at the end of the day. But I also really like Ares and Aphrodite as Greek gods. Ares is the god of war. Aphrodite is the goddess of love. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. They also have the names down at the bottom there. And I thought the figurines were just so cute. I think it's really fun that all of our New York City friends like have one, and like as a little group, we just all have a little god now to put wherever they want in their apartment. But obviously, as I said, since Athena is my favorite goddess and has been since I was 11 years old, I also got myself a little something. This is easily the most expensive thing that we bought for Souvenir. And even then, she still wasn't that expensive. We didn't spend a lot of money on souvenirs. We did buy Christmas presents for everybody while in Greece. So that was a huge thing off our to-do list. But when it came to things for us, we really rathered spend our money on experiences and things to do and really fun meals at restaurants. You know, it's probably gonna be a long time before we're back in Greece just because there are so many places we want to see. But since Athena has always been such a love of mine, oh my God, this is the first time I'm seeing it since I took it out of the store. It's so gorgeous, you guys. This is the Athena statue I got for myself. It's so pretty. You can see there's a lot of different symbolism going on here. She has the owl on her shoulder there, which is a huge symbol for Athena. She also has a snake down by her leg also. Also another big symbolic piece for Athena. And then over here, she actually has the face of Medusa printed into her shield. The shop owner was giving me a whole lesson, and it was really fun for me because I already knew a lot of what he was saying, but I was just so excited. She also has her spear. Athena is the goddess of wisdom and battle. She does get confused with Ares a lot because they are technically both gods of war and battle. So hers is almost more strategic battle. I'm not gonna turn this into a whole Greek history lesson, I promise. But again, her name is depicted down at the bottom. She's gonna be going on display on my desk somewhere. I don't know exactly where yet, but somewhere. And I am so excited. So this was my one piece. I was nerding out extremely. Ian absolutely humored me. I think he thought it was really fun because I got so excited. That's just gonna be a fun little thing to have by my desk. Every time I see it, I am gonna think of our trip, which is just gonna be so much fun. Another one that I thought was just very classic and something I really wanted from our honeymoon in terms of souvenir would be a Christmas ornament. And this was obviously on my mind because we went so close to Christmas. It's a beautiful little Santorini village. It's got it on both sides. There's a little bell at the top. Ian and I went through a bunch of different ornaments and he ended up picking out this one. I thought it was perfect. Once again, in the shape of a heart. Like, tell me that's not gonna just make us think of our honeymoon every time we see them. I think that's perfect. So I'm so excited to make this part of our Christmas ornament collection. Every Christmas, we're gonna hang it up and be like, remember that time we had a honeymoon in Greece? That was crazy. And then last but not least, I feel like this isn't a collection we have or say we have, but I feel like we always end up with one of these whenever we go on a trip, and Ian and I each got one. And that would be matching sweatshirts. Ian got one that says Mykonos in very sweet Greek font. And then mine is from Santorini. It's got the little flag and a bit of a cursive font. We actually wore these both out to the grocery store the other day accidentally, and someone absolutely went, oh my God, you guys match. And it was like, yeah, we do, which I love. I think that's so cute. And now we can remember them every time we get a little chilly in the apartment and put on a sweatshirt from Greece. So that is the honeymoon souvenir haul, all the things we got. Again, nothing super expensive, but definitely things that I think are going to make us really remember our honeymoon fondly whenever we see them. Also, on top of those things, we did bring a Polaroid camera to Greece. So I also have a handful of Polaroid photos as well as a disposable camera because we had a couple left over from the wedding. So we have some of these to go through as well. I have not developed the disposable cameras yet from our honeymoon or from our wedding. So that's big on the to-do list, but it's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be like going through the memories all over again when we get these photos developed. And then we also have just some Polaroid pictures. So yes, I hope you enjoyed that little souvenir haul. Just really reminiscing about the honeymoon and the wedding. We should be getting our wedding photos and our wedding video back within the next month or so. So definitely keep an eye out. Our wedding video will be getting posted to my YouTube channel. I am so freaking excited for it. You do not want to miss it. And I think I'm gonna wrap this vlog up here. As always, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I know I just did 2 hauls back to back, but the rest of our month is about to be getting very chaotic and busy and Christmassy. So get ready for all of that. It's gonna be a great time. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 5. Bye.